Eno video egenda kubeera mpanvu era egenda kubeera ku part 2. Njagala kwogera ku Honorable Nsibambi byazayogera mumulabye ku TVs nga ali mu kuwayiriza NUP, ali mu kuwayiriza Dr. Zedriga biki ba meeting bino bagenze mu State House na biki. Kati nze naliyo nina information era njagala mbatangaze. Eno video mulino gisharinga kubanga bannayuganda beetaaga bamanye bana abasajja balimba nnyo. Kakati ekisooka meeting yayitibwa Interreligious Council. Ate ye kyatamanyi, by the way, I am shocked agenda ku national media alimu exposing atamanyi nti meeting zali bbiri ye yajja mu meeting emu. Ati kamba wuli Interreligious Council nga yitaba opposition political parties. Nga baagala twogere kubiri mbululu what is happening. Njuke wali a lot of violence bichi tugenda kulonda to mediate nze tutya eno violence erema kubaawo. Nzukira even before we started the meeting Dr. Zedriga yayogera nange kubanga nze nalukwago Dr. Zedriga ne Sasi Marvin twagenda ku representing a NUP. Dr. Zedriga natubuza nemo mulowooza anything is going to come out of this meeting kubanga meetings west to tuzibaddemu emirundi mingi but nothing ever gets resolved. Nena agamba anyway sometimes as in a meeting tuzibeeramu just for record purposes nti tebaatuyita ne tugaana nti babayita ne muganda bagamba banupu muli hooligans, so let's attend tuweeyo grievances zaffe then tulabe oba anything will come out right. Netugenda mu meeting era nzijukira Honorable Nsibambi yali okupresent nga FDC. In fact yali settled in that meeting, yali up and down nga agamba omugongo gumuluma biki bakamukola surgery biki. Nzijukira bulungi nnyo yeta ayinza okuba tanzijukira nti naliyo naye nzijukira bulungi nnyo. Kakati nga people give their submissions era nga batusomera document biki mulimu violence brutality biki nga political parties zonna ziwa submission yaffe era nzijukira a DP teyaliyo. I think DP ne political party ki I think DP ne UPC of which information najifuna eri omuntu omu yangamba some political parties baziyita ne zisaba transport allowance. You can imagine they call them for the dialogue and they ask for transport allowance, so I was not shocked nti ezimu tezajja. I don't know how true that is, the nze kye bangamba omuntu omu kye yangamba. So netu discussing kati twamala ku discussing nzijukiranga Honorable Nsibambi ya leaving a midweather meeting bwenzijukira if I'm not mistaken. Ela resolutions ezali za meeting netwogera ku bantu baffe bebawamba netwogera ku bantu brutality biki. Nene meeting waliwo complaint lwaki to discussing bino ebintu byonna nga party etulituusako bino ebintu byonna teriiwo. Ba Archbishop na baba Interreligious Council bagamba no, this is a meeting for opposition, so that mwe musobole okwogera ebintu byammwe bonna nga temuyinaako muntu akolaki oba abavuna na something of the sort. Era mweyo meeting I can tell you waliwo political parties zezagamba they are okay with the status quo but bayina buzibu ekigenda maaso kyonna it's good for them bo ngera bagamba how come nti balibe bawanya omunyaffe tebatubonya that means balibe bayina obuzibu. It happened in the meeting abantu ne boogera bwe batyo. You can imagine what is happening to Ugandans, but for them because it's not happening to the people in their party they were okay with it. So moving forward sagala kwogera details za meeting nnyo. Moving forward netu resolving and we are going to have another meeting. Era Interreligious Council ne promising tugenda kubeera ne meeting endala. Era mweyo meeting mugenda kubeera mu security akulira security, mugenda kubeera mu akulira electoral commission nabo bagenda kubeera munaffe opposition political parties tukomewo. First meeting yaliwo 7th January kati wamulabe ne ku TV documents zaina za 7th January tamanyi nti waliyo meeting endala yaliyo ku Saturday on 10th January. Okitegeera kati ye netu resolving era 10th January netuddayo tubeera meeting. It happened from morning to evening. Nzukira abantu bavanga bakowu. We didn't eat anything that whole day. Were there I think people, we didn't eat that day. We were there the whole day. Era mu meeting eyo we discussed the same things. Then that this time around Justice Byabakama yaliwo mweyo meeting ne AIGP yaliwo mweyo meeting ye nani omulala naffe opposition political parties twaliwo era netubuuza ebibuuzo byaffe bingi biki bintu bingi details nzazibabulira mugundi mu part 2. Lwaki mbabulira zino details? First of all oyo omwami agambe muno meeting resolving anti bagende mu State House alimba. Those were not the resolutions of the meeting. Meeting resolving tubeera na meeting eyokubiri twogere ne security ne Justice Byabakama era yaliwo twayogera and that was the end of the meeting. Just twayagala kumanya electoral commission ba planning batya security lwaki bakola bino ebintu byonna era ba planning batya holding elections nga zili free and fair. That's all. Tewali yayogera ko gena mu State House era ebyo abye forging de yayagala ku justify nga lwaki yagenze mu State House. Ekyokubiri omwami omukulu ng'oyo abadde Professor Makerere agenda kyo ku national media n'atandika okulimba. Ffe tetulinaako buzibu oba ayagala kulya ssente ze oba balina plans zaabwe ne General Museveni babeere nazo, it's okay, but you can't go and start lying about individuals ng'omanyi ne meeting yali broadcast. By the way, no meeting teyali hidden, yali ku mawulire era bagiteekako ku mawulire, bannamawulire baaliyo, n'embuuza bannamawulire ba NTV ba NBS, different televisions were there era ebintu babicapturinga. Ekyokubiri nti tiyaliwo na mu meeting yakubiri, he did not attend, naye ayagala kubalowooleza nti no yasinga okumanya. So ekisooka kyexpose nze nti alimba mwami mulimbi ate nze ekinnewunyisa kubanga almost I think Professor Mulamba. Then ekyokubiri ba politicians bwe mba mwagala kulyamba Nancy Lukwe temwekwasa bantu balala, kikole onyo individual gwe nga gwe. N'ekyokubiri kye neebuuza, okay, ogambye nti resolution anti meeting ya resolving anti mugende mu State House. How come teri muntu yenna yali mu meeting eyabadde mu State House naawe wabaddeyo yekka? Kyogamba nti no gogo twa delegating anti tugendere mu State House oti discussing the resolutions za meeting and meeting eyokubiri tewaliimu. How come Latif Seragala yali mu meeting? What was he doing in State House with you representing us for a meeting he did not attend? Olowooza tuli basirwe? Abantu abamu balowooza tuli basirwe nti bw'otunulira abantu beyagenze nabo mu State House bonna teri yalimu eyo meeting okujjako ye of which attending a meeting na mu bweti katwaki yekwasa nti mu meeting ya resolving anti naagende mu State House. So part 2 ejja mugirindirire. So many of you have asked me to produce an English version of what happened, that meeting Nsibambi is talking about, because I was part of it, because many of you are not understanding the Luganda version. So this is what happened. Towards the election, the Interreligious Council, in their wisdom, saw to it that given what was happening in the election, they needed to mediate opposition, everyone that was in the election, with the security and election commission. So they developed their document, and they called upon opposition political parties. So they called us on 7th. I think it was a Wednesday. 7th must have been a Wednesday. We went at Interreligious Council offices, and all opposition political parties attended except UPC and DP, like Nsibambi said. He was also there. He was representing FDC. And I clearly remember he was very unsettled in the meeting. He was up and down, citing that his back is paining. And in fact, if I haven't forgotten, he didn't even finish the meeting. He left before the meeting ended, if I have not forgotten. So what happened in those meetings? Ideally, they read to us a document, Interreligious Council had developed what is happening in the election, and we were supposed to give our grievances. Of course, before the meeting started, I, Dr. Lina Zedriga, and Sasi Marvin went to represent the National Unity Platform. Dr. Zedriga had concerns. She discussed with 2 of us. She asked us, do you think anything is going to be resolved? Because we've gone for such meetings so many times and nothing ever comes out. We just sit in meetings and waste time. But then she was like, you know what, let's go. Sit down, given our grievances, never know, maybe this is a meeting that will bring results, never know. And you know when you don't, and she's like, you know when you don't respond to these meetings, these people say you're hooligans, so let's be there. So we want properly, we had organized ourselves, we sat in the meeting, and when it was time for us to speak, we spoke. So after the meeting was concluded, the funny bit is, some of the members, especially opposition members, were in that meeting. For them, they said they were okay with the status quo of what was going on. They weren't seeing the brutality, the violence, and everything. In fact, someone asked, how come it's them who are getting the brutality? That means they're the ones with a problem. I was so shocked. I'm like, you're seeing Ugandans being abducted, being beaten, and for you, you're saying everything is normal? Anyway, let's leave that story for another day. So the meeting, in the meeting, we resolved. It was resolved that we are going to have another meeting. Why are we having another meeting? Because this meeting we sat in on the 7th didn't have the election commission, didn't have the security, who were the biggest people we were concerned about. So there was, we didn't see a use for a meeting when those people are not around. So we resolved that we have a meeting with them. No one resolved that we are going to State House. No one. Mr. Nsibambi, Honorable Nsibambi, I can tell you to your face, even if they bring us together, you lied on national television that was a resolution to go to State House. You're using it to sanitize why you went to State House. Please eat your money in peace, do your things in peace. Please don't put people's names in such things. That was not there. Anyway, and the funny bit is, I'm sure Honorable Nsibambi doesn't know that there was a second meeting, because he only attended one meeting. In the second meeting, he didn't come. In fact, I think his party was not represented in the second meeting. So in the second meeting, some of the parties were missing. And in fact, I asked one of the people that why other parties missing. Some of them are like, some of them asked for transport refund. The last time they weren't given transport, but no one was given transport. And I'm like, okay, anyway. Then some of them gave excuses that since it's an election period, they don't have people to represent them, which is understandable. Some parties don't have so many members to keep on moving up and down in a busy election period. And then others, basically those are the reasons they were giving. So in the second meeting still, we sat down. There was the AIGP was around and Justice Biabakam was around. We sat down as the different opposition parties. We asked so many questions, of which some of them were not answered because they were trying to dodge them. We asked questions on accountability. We asked questions on the brutality. We asked Justice Biabakam, where does he get results from the different districts? I remember Mdanu asked that question. Why can't he broadcast the different polling stations? Because they have the authority to do so. Why don't they broadcast them? We are in an ICT age where you can put all polling stations up in the system and someone can search and match with their DR forms, but they don't do that. That is the question I asked. etc. So the meeting ended because the people were supposed to see that is the Justice Biabakam of EC, whom we had complaints about, and AIGP security, who we had complaints about, came in the meeting and we had discussions. So my question to Honorable Nsibambi, first of all, you're saying we made the resolution that you used the resolutions to go to the State House. Such a resolution was not there. I want you to come and show Ugandans that paper where it is written that we are going to State House. Where it is written, that is number one. Number two, I want to ask you, okay, if you say you want to represent the meeting, how come you're the only one who was in that meeting? How come you're the only one who went? Do you think if people wanted to go to State House, other people wouldn't have gone with you who were part of that meeting? How come it's only you who went? Meanwhile, only you who didn't even attend the second meeting, who went. And you went with Honorable Latif Sebagal, who was not even part of the meeting. Like, you guys, Bwatambuza mukumagezi. On top of that, I want to ask you, these things, the things we were talking about were before the election, and maybe what we expected to happen on election day. Then for you, why are you going after the election? To do what? Because everything we talked about has already happened, or didn't happen, or they didn't put it in practice. So, my friend, okay, not my friend, where are you going after the election has ended? Moreover, the things we're discussing were pre-election or election day. The election has already ended. So I don't really get why you're using people's names, you're maligning people's names, and using them to sanitize what you have done. Please, as an individual, hold yourself accountable. Be true to yourself. You went, you chased your goat, you chased your cow, you skinned it, you got all the benefits from your cow. Please eat it alone. Don't put there people who haven't been part of your hunting game. So yeah, for me, that's what I wanted to clarify. And of course, the other details I'll give in another video, but that's first of all, I want to clarify.